In today's video, I want to help you do more wild camping, urban park up, boondocking, whatever you may call it. If you've never done it before or you're scared about doing it, this video is going to help you no end. Those of you who've watched the channel for a while, you know I'm Darren, I'm the Urban Motorhome. I've lived in this motorhome for 5.5 years now, and as the name says, I am urban. I predominantly park urban. I've never had any problems, never had any trouble, and I will park pretty much anywhere. I've got a whole back catalogue of park ups of how to find places and where I've been before. A lot of people do say some of my park ups are quite risky and they wouldn't do them. I don't want to say expert or anything because I don't consider myself that, but I am in touch with wild camping, shall we say. So if you've never done wild camping, and I know a lot of people want to start because they've got their motorhomes, they've got your van, and you really want to get out there, and campsites are quite expensive these days, and they're only getting more expensive. And you know, breaking it up, doing just a couple of campsites and then a few wild camps really can, you know, make a big difference to the price of a whole trip. So you want to start, but you don't know where to start, and you're a bit scared, and you don't know what to do. What should you do? So where I think you should start would be, I would start with a supermarket car park. Make sure there is no AMPR. That is the first thing you need to do. But yeah, supermarket park ups are, you've got people around you. You're pretty safe and secure. They're quite quiet at night. There should be no real bother. Park next to the trolley bays or in the corner of the car park, so you're out of the way. Or you're next to a structure, so you can park your hab door right next to, as close to the trolley bay as possible. So then no one can get down that side if there was gonna, but like I said, I've never had any problems, so that's not going to happen. And also because you're close to a structure, if there was any boy racers, they want space. They don't want to be near something. You know, if they're going to do a donut, they're not going to do it right next to a trolley bay, so they're going to be out of the way. And if you're in the corner or next to that, you should be fine. My top tips for wild camping would be to have a few, if you're going to park in, say, this spot here, right here where I am now, I would have 2 or 3 more spots picked out just on Google Maps or Street View or something in the back of my mind. So if something did happen, you've got somewhere to move to straight away. You haven't then got to think, you know, it's like 2 in the morning, I've got to go, you know, something's not right, or you know, and then where do you go? So you've got 2 or 3 spots already picked out. That's the first thing. Make sure you park polite and legal. That is seen me right completely. Just, I know it's easy for me to say this and you know, but just go for it. Honestly, you tell a friend where you're going, or go out in a pair, you know, you and someone else in van life. There's plenty of Facebook groups out there and everything, and there's plenty of networking you can do. You can go to these festivals, you can go to the meetups, and then if you've never done a wild camp and someone else has never done a wild camp, do one together, because then, you know, you're in numbers, you can you know, do it together, or go out with someone that has already done one, because I believe that will really ease you and settle you. And I did say that was lastly, but lastly, if your gut doesn't feel right and you feel a bit uneasy about the place that you're parking, and you just think, I'm not feeling the vibe of this place, whatever, leave. Trust your gut, trust your instincts 110%, and just go somewhere else. Don't try and brave it out or anything like that, because your brain will go to kick in as soon as you try to start go to bed, and you start thinking about things, and then you're just going to be running a million miles. It's not going to work. Now, that may all be well and good. My tips may be the best tips in the world, but they're from a single guy who travels on his own and doesn't have a problem with what he's doing, and I've done it for plenty of time. What if you're a single female? My advice is not going to cover all bases. What happens if you're a woman and you want to travel and do wild camping on your own? Well, I reached out to Tash and Lou to ask for their advice, and this is what they had to say.
So I'm Lou from Camper Vibe, and I've been wild camping in my van for about 12 months, and for the last 6 months solo.
Wicked. I'm Tash, one half of Life Beyond Bricks, and I've been full-time in a motorhome for 3 years, but since July last year, I've actually had my own van, which is the one you can see, that I've been doing solo adventures in, wild camping, park ups, that sort of thing.
So it's a little bit daunting the first time, because you have to sort of think, you know, is anything going to go wrong, and you do worry, but there's a lot of information out there that you can kind of see that other people are doing it. So I thought, why not? Just fuck it, give it a go.
Yeah, I'd say before we went wild camping, I probably was quite nervous. Hearing noises and things used to freak me out, but over time I've got used to it. I did find that when I went solo for the first time, it was kind of like going back to square one. I don't know if you found that, but compared to when I'm in the motorhome with John, going by myself was quite nerve-wracking. But when I look at park-ups online, I try to use other people's recommendations, and I'll pick stuff that might be a bit, more, like, say busy, but stuff that's less secluded, and then I've just built myself back up to sort of wild camping.
Yeah, you're right though. There's definitely, if you've done it with someone else and then you go to on your own, there's definitely, you've lost like that backup, that safety net. So there's definitely that to consider. Rather than going straight on your own, you've got to make that one jump in one leap. But we was lucky enough to have a kind of slide into it, I guess.
Yeah, it's almost like we had a buffer.
Yeah.
Like we sort of did stage 1 and then you do stage 2. So yeah, hats off to anyone that jumps straight in with both feet solo.
Although now we've got rid of that buffer, we're happy on our own.
Yeah, to be fair, literally. Where's my husband? Don't know. I'm off in my van.
So for people that are a bit dubious, a bit scared, I'd say you just kind of need to bite the bullet. Do your research, use apps like Park for Night and read all the reviews, because you can kind of get a gauge then for if there's been trouble there before, if it's a common spot, if it's lesser used. And for me, one of the things I really focus on, like if I'm ever worried, I think, well, I'm a woman on my own in a van, but whoever's outside this van doesn't know that. So at least I can sort of see who's coming towards the van, but in their mind, I could be with a bloke, I could be a group of blokes, I could have a dog, I could have, a whole group of us in here, so they don't know necessarily who's in that van. So I would say, don't make it so, if you're a bit dubious, don't make it obvious that you're there by yourself, so try and keep out of sight of what's going on around you. That would probably be my thing.
Yeah, I'd back up everything you just said, to be fair, like do your research. And I've never thought about that before, actually. They don't know you're on your own in here unless they've seen you.
Unless they've seen you earlier in the day.
But yeah, I think one thing I would do, so the way that I ease myself into it was I actually started up by doing pub stops, so that I knew that I was somewhere I was meant to be and I was not kind of secluded. And then I just built myself up from there. That was a good way to do it. And also, for me personally, I don't get everything out and set the van up in the same way I would if I was somewhere, like say I am now, where I'm at a camping spot. So I would kind of have it just for my own peace of mind so that it's ready to go.
Yeah, ready
so I
to
know
go.
that if I need to leave quickly, I can, because I've got everything set up as minimally as possible.
Yeah, I agree. So in our van, we've got swivel seats. So if I'm on my own, the driver's seat, I have it turned back round front facing, and my shoes are always in the gap, so that I know if I've got to jump out of bed and go, I'm just bang straight in my shoes and off.
Yeah, literally exactly that. So just, I wouldn't have the roof up if I was doing a park up and maybe I was, just trying to keep it low profile and make sure I could go quickly. I wouldn't put my roof up. I probably wouldn't have all my kettle and that. I'd literally have it so I could go. And like you say, shoes
Ready to go, know where your keys are. That's another thing, you don't want to be scrambling around looking for your keys. Although touch wood, in any country, we've never had a problem. So I think that's, drop the stigma that you're going to have a problem. It's very rare, and just use common sense and try and be as safe as you can.
Gut feeling.
Yeah,
Always go with your
feeling.
gut feeling. Even if you think, oh, it's just me being silly, go with your gut feeling, 100%.
Yeah. If your gut says no, move, find another. There'll be another park up a mile down the road, so.
If your gut says no, go.
If your gut says no, go.
I'm coining that.
We'll have a t-shirt.
You've had my hints and tips from a single guy. You've had Tash and Lou's from single females. What about couples and couples with children? So I asked my friends Rolling Rucks what they do and how they started wild camping and what their hints and tips were.
Hi, so we're Stu and Charlie, and wild camping was a big issue for us when we started, wasn't it?
I was a bit of a scaredy cat, wasn't I?
So I was completely calm with it and quite excited about it, but you was very nervous. Obviously, we've got 3 kids.
Yeah, so for me, it was always that feeling that you either shouldn't be parked there or someone was going to try and break in.
Or you're going to get moved on.
Yeah.
So you was always very nervous of it. So we actually did our first wild camping session last year on a beautiful beach just south of Aberystwyth in West Wales. And I slept all night. We had a beautiful night. How was your evening, love?
It was nail-biting, wasn't it? I didn't sleep all night. I literally panicked, I think, from the moment it was pitch black until morning. And then I felt like I was happy to be alive because I'd done it. I was happy we didn't get moved on.
You was very tired.
I was exhausted, and I vowed I wouldn't do it again for a long, long time.
So we do a lot more wild camping now than we used to. So Charlotte's obviously come a long, long way with it. And I think it's a combination of, we use apps to sort of find the spots, and then we'll go onto Google Maps and we'll have a little look around the area. Obviously, we try and do it so that we're not going to be a nuisance or a pain to anybody, and that we can just come in, do our little wild camp and leave without a trace.
Yeah. I used to get scared of location. I always kept thinking, are we going to get moved on? And also, instead of enjoying the peace and quiet, I felt that that was actually detrimental to us as a family to begin with. I felt that we were more at risk. The reality is, wild camping is really actually quite safe, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think, you just got to pick your spots wisely.
Yeah.
And I think it's one of those things as well, the more you do it, the more you relax into it. So like Charlotte now is a lot better than she ever has been. Like if I say we're going wild camping tonight, she wouldn't say a peep. She would be quite happy with that. If we're in a spot where the spot's perfect, but maybe we're a little bit more exposed, then we might take some measures to sort of settle us. So like I'll do the seatbelt trick around the door and clip that in.
That made me feel way better when I realised people couldn't get in the cab.
Yeah, yeah.
Silly as it sounds, it's just little safety tricks that just put my mind at rest.
But to be fair,
but then couldn't someone, you said to me, someone could just walk on a campsite and break in if they wanted to.
Exactly, it doesn't matter. This was my sort of attitude to it, was it doesn't matter where you are, if you're on a campsite, wild camping, on your drive, wherever you may be. Fact is, you're outside, you're in your motorhome. Nobody wants to come and break into your motorhome when you're in it, but I understand.
They don't know you're in it, do they?
Not if I'm in it. But, you know, obviously you have that nerves, and there's lots of different reasons why the nerves are there. Said you've got, is someone going to try and break in? Are you going to get moved on, saying you can't stay here? And is it going to be, you know, an inappropriate spot where you can have people complaining, or you're going to get a lot of road noise by the side of you? But again, this is something that comes with experience. The more you do it, you start to learn all these kind of things, and you're able then to plan a little bit better. It doesn't take a lot of time. It just needs 5 minutes, sat with your phone, find the area you want to be in, have a look at the general area, because last thing we want is to be a nuisance to anybody or be somewhere we shouldn't. And we've been fine with it since, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
We're still a bit nervous.
Well, we found some nice spots. I think going to Europe for us was a massive help, because over there, you know, camping is really okay, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot more accepted, and there's a lot more rural areas for you to easily find a spot, isn't it?
Yeah.
But because we've got the kids, when it comes to our wild camping spots, we'll always try and find somewhere that's got, you know, either a nature walk nearby or a park, something that so we can take the kids. You know, it could be a sort of coastal area, so we can take the kids down to the beach. But again, it depends what time of day. If we're there for the day and night, then yeah, we're going to look for places like your coastal, so we got the beach, or your nature walks, or a park nearby, or a town we can go into, so we can obviously entertain the kids. If it's just an evening stopover and we're getting there quite late, then obviously we relax that a little bit, don't we? And we'll go with just somewhere that's safe, out of the way.
I'm not really keen on roadside destinations, laybys, things like that. I wouldn't do that with the kids, because, you know, there's a risk of the traffic, exposure. Are we going to get hit? You know, are the children going to wake up in the middle of the night and try and, in fairness, they've never tried to open the door, but that would just be something that would freak me out. Yeah. I wouldn't park next to a lake or a pond. Again, same reasons. I'd always be thinking, are the kids going to get out and accidentally, you know, be a little bit like not sure where they are perhaps, and then end up in the middle of a road or something. So safety stuff like that I would be looking for in a park up. I'd be more inclined to do a car park than do a lay-by.
A lay-by, yeah.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of doing wild camping, some tips we can give you, you know, if the security side does make you feel better, look into that. If you've got friends that you can go along with, this would be our biggest
Safety in numbers, for sure.
Safety in numbers. If you've got friends, or maybe it's a spot that you know quite a few go to, it's a good way to meet people as well, so you get best of both worlds. It's join the community.
Yeah, and 100%. Also, I just need to drop in, if obviously you are wild camping and you've got kids, be aware that toilet is going to get full real quick.
Yes.
So, yeah, if you can nip to the local shops, pubs, restaurants, whatever, if you go to somewhere that's near a town that you can use their toilets, pop in, use them, because you don't want to get that full, because once it's full, that's it, your wild camping's ended, innit?
And there you have it. I think I've covered the board completely. You've had me giving my experience, my hints and tips and advice for starting to wild camp from a single guy's point of view. You've had Tash and Lou from a single female's point of view, and how they started, and what their hints and tips are for wild camping. And then we crossed the rolling rucks and saw what a couple's point of view was with children, to see how they started wild camping and their hints and tips. So I think I've covered every single aspect. So what you need to do now is get out there, try a wild camp, follow all these hints and tips, drop it in the comments if you've got any hints, tips or advice about wild camping, how you started yours, what helped you overcome your fears and make you go and do one. That will help everyone that's watching this video. Make sure you check out this video and this video of me finding some park ups in urban areas. I do get to some funny locations, so make sure you have a look at them. You'll you'll have a laugh. And yeah, I will catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy, bye.